Hey guys, Wages World here. It is July 24th, going to the 25th, 2020. Um, Listen, the CME is impacting us right now, guys. Plus, we're going to be talking about some solar wind that I said it would probably be accompanying it or right behind it, which is actually what's going on. We'll go more into detail on that in a minute, but yes, we are being impacted by that. Plus, a crazy looking Schumann spike that I've never seen before. And also the Geoelectric field model that I show you guys, that it's been in operation for about a year. I've been showing it to you guys in every video, just a small piece of it, just so you guys can see what it is. I'm seeing something there that I've never seen before. Just look at my thumbnail. Um, yeah. So, and I'm not saying that it's not going to be a normal thing to see. I've just never personally seen that, even when we were getting hit with a CME. So we'll go take a look at that too. But first, we're going to talk about these comments here real quick, and some UV information I think is valuable. But anyway, here, Michael Healer, if I pronounce that wrong, I do apologize. Says, "Hey brother, can I ask, has anyone else noticed that the heat intensity during a warm day feeling stronger than normal? Was out in the garden the other day, picking green beans and black jeans in my jeans," and he went on to talk a little bit here. But he was just explaining what he was experiencing. In other words, it boils down to, he was saying that it does seem that the sun's being a little bit more intense. That's what he's that was his main point. Listen, you know, during the summer I do some lawn care work. Listen, I'm out in the sun a lot, and I can tell you that even I even talk to my coworkers, and they tell me the same thing that I'm thinking, and it does seem as though things are more intense. Okay, as far as the heat when you're out in the sunlight itself, um, there's a whole host of things that can be causing that, and it's probably a little bit of each of them. It goes from the atmosphere to our protection that's not quite there, the ozone layer. We all know that's been an issue, and so on and so forth. We could talk for hours on this, but I do agree with what he's saying here. I do think that, because I know personally I feel that. I've noticed it in some of our plants too that are that should be able to be okay out in the sun. They haven't been. They're getting burnt. And it starts by getting burnt around the edges, and you guys will be able to see that and notice it. Just pay attention. Pay attention to vegetation that typically you wouldn't even be looking at in such a way that it looks like they're getting brown or like burnt edges. It's like somebody takes a lighter. This is how I explain it, and just goes around the whole edge of like a leaf of a plant, and that's kind of what it looks like. That, and again, that can be caused by a host of things too. But if it's out in the sun, and those plants are made to be out in the sun, but yet they're still being affected in such a way, that does lend itself to say, hey, listen, the stuff does seem more intense. And so, so Michael, I hope that helps you understand that you're not the only one experiencing this. I hear this from a lot of people. And this goes right into here. So it would be nice to see into Canada for Mr. MBB 3333. This is Brenda. She's up in Canada. I think this is my first repeat comment that I put up here. This very much applied to what we were talking about here. I do think that he does have a few people that report in from Canada. And what we're talking about, Mr. MBB3 has a network of people that send him UV readings from across basically the United States, but I think it's kind of reached out a little bit. I know he has some up towards at least the northern border of the United States, which would get you real close to Canada. But he reports on all that, and the UV readings, guys, they're very, very erratic. They're higher than what we would think they should be. When they take a chart, and I'll show it to you here in a minute. Matter of fact, we'll talk about that when we get there. I'll just take you guys over and let you guys see that here in a second. But I want to give a shout out here to Sherry Boo 65. But she's been here on my channel for a long time, and she's always dropping good comments. Hi, how you doing? They're pretty short and they're just to the point. Hi, how you doing? Appreciate what you do. And I want everybody to know that I do read these things. Okay, and I do appreciate these kinds of things. She says, first view and like. So she was the first one to hop on there when my video hit, and she went over and watched it and clicked a like. That's cool. It really is. So I just wanted to give a shout out. I'm glad she's here. I'm glad all you guys are here. So, but we're going to go check out this UV thing real quick. Okay, guys, this is just a UV index chart and what different UV indices will cause, okay, which you can expect during those conditions. First thing I have to say here is this chart only used to go to 10. Okay, and now we see 11 on there, but they'll chart it higher now. We've seen them up to 14, even 15. Okay, I'm not sure what the record is, but yes, we've seen them up that high. They've actually had to adjust higher because we're experiencing conditions that we didn't used to. And that's the whole point of what we're talking about. So that right there is proof in itself that we are experiencing more UV than what we used to. Our atmosphere is not deflecting it like it used to, or absorbing it more so than a deflection. Okay, now, so what I'm going to do here is, and this is talking about UVA and B right here. That's usually what these UV indexes are taking in consideration. All right, because they thought forever that UVC could not get to the surface of the Earth. They thought our atmosphere blocked all of it. The only way we experienced UVC was through unnatural means like welding. Anything that we do like that does produce some UVC, and you can still get burnt from that. But what they're talking about here is UVB, A, and B. This is the stuff the sunscreen will block. UVC will not be blocked by sunscreen. You have to put clothes on, guys, if you're going to protect yourself from that. Or use some sort of shading device. Don't be embarrassed if you're out somewhere and you want to protect yourself to pop an umbrella up even when it's not raining. Number one, it's going to drop the temperature right there in your immediate area, a considerable amount. Plus, it's going to keep all them nasty rays off of you. Screw what everybody thinks you look like. I mean, heck, we're all running around with masks on our face now as it is. So what's it even matter? You know what I mean? So that's what I would say to that. Even working in lawn care, like I said, we're all getting to the point now where we wear the hats with the, I used to call them like fishing hats. They got the big floppy bills on them, or even the old farmer style hats that block the sun from your neck and out towards your shoulders. Don't be afraid to wear those kinds of things. But you can look at this chart right here and you can see what it can do. Okay, but UVC is now being experienced on the surface of the Earth from the sun. Mr. MBB3 has proved that through his network. So just know that. He gets readings now from UVC. We should not see any of it. It should be 0. And it's not. He showed one the other day, I think it was like a 4 or 5, which is crazy. It's crazy to even think, because that stuff goes straight and can affect directly your it goes right down to the cellular level. It's bad stuff, guys. Now, don't get me wrong. Our skin actually does a pretty good job of taking care of those kinds of things. But at the same time, it is an extra thing that we need to be paying attention to. Because it will. Because we haven't been experiencing these UVCs until the past few years. So, it's something new. So, anyway, we'll move on from that. Okay, guys. Obviously, this is a geoelectric field model. Okay, I made a recording. I'm going to show it to you here in a minute. But look at that thing, guys. Remember what I said before, like months ago, that on the graph, and you can't really see it because I kind of cut it off on accident. But down here on the bottom, it's got a color-coded graph. I'm not sure if you can even see that. But when I said it got towards the purples and the whites, that was like way up here. You know what I mean? Way up that high end of the chart. Look at this, man. This is because we're getting hit with that CME and high solar wind. And this is during the time where the United States here was at least partially facing the day side. We were facing the sun. So, as we rotated to the other side, it doesn't look as strong, but it's still happening. Okay, because it kind of wraps around the planet and gets sucked in. We all know that. But anyway, but facing the sun, it makes sense that whatever part of the plant's facing the sun will be experiencing more of an increase or an intensity from the CME, because that's the direction that's coming. All right, so I'm gonna take you over and show you the video now. I just wanted you guys to see this again. This is what I used for my thumbnail, but man, it was intense. Okay, guys, this is the video. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a look at it, and obviously you're seeing what I was seeing, and watch this thing, guys. We're just gonna let it play, and you're gonna see we take some pretty decent little wave and hits from solar weather. That's what's causing the effects on our geoelectric field. And I think the reason why there it went, you see it? Look at that. Okay, we're gonna watch this a couple times. I slowed it down just a little bit so we can see it better. But you know, I don't know if this is such an extreme thing that this isn't to be expected during the CME, because this model's only a year old. Okay, I would think that we should know that we're going to see this during CMEs. Okay, I think this is probably normal stuff for CMEs, but this is just showing that yes, we're getting hit with it. And if you look up here at the top, you can see those numbers. Okay, bouncing around, and it says the maximum effect up at the top there. Watch that number. Watch how high that thing gets. I'm going to back this up a little bit and we'll watch it. Okay? Watch that number at the top. Look how high it goes when it starts hitting. Okay, see the little spike there? Boom, 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 boom. Look at that. It went all the way up to 800. And this thing usually hangs out like 0 or 1. Okay, so we know we got hit right there. That is most definitely a hit right on the chin. Okay, the CME, it does look like it's kind of skirting to the north of us. You know, if you look at a side view of the sun and us as it was coming towards us, is this still playing? Let me play it again. As it was coming towards us, it did have a little upward graze to it. So we may just be kind of catching not really the complete center of it, but just to the south of center of the CME. You know, I often wonder if that was like right in the middle, what this would have done. Okay. You know, and again, this is probably normal for us to see during a CME, but that is very intense. Okay. So all that stuff's coming into our system, guys, and we have to know, listen, that we got to pay attention to earthquakes right now for the next day or so, at least. Not to mention, we're still going to continue to see this stuff for probably another 24 hours. So, and that not just because of CME, but we got solar wind coming in behind it from coronal holes. And then here in the next couple days, we're going to see some more solar wind. So this is something we're going to have to experience probably for the next week or so. And we just got to, you know, stay on our toes and be aware of what's going on. So, yeah. Alright, guys, got you over at Space Weather Prediction Center. And this is our space weather conditions. Something I'm noticing here, you know, we got that active area on the sun starting to come, it's in Earth's view. And you can see it spitting and sputtering little flares. You know, there was a little one there. I actually mentioned this yesterday. And this one here is just a little bit taller than the other one. In other words, it's a little bit stronger. That does look like it might have got into like a B range flare. It does, you know, it's a kind of a crude way to draw that, but see if I can't be a little more. It might have got in there to be low B range. Who knows? Doesn't really matter. It at that level, it's not going to do anything anyway. Okay. Other than just raise those conditions. It actually helps radio operators when it's facing the day side. Radio propagation is a lot better during when you got higher X-ray flux. So, if anybody didn't know that. Now, see, this is kind of what I was waiting on. We go up any more in the geomagnetic activity level here, we will be into storm level, just like I said yesterday, guys. Okay? And I did, remember I was talking about a couple different looking little wave things that were going on? Look what happens here. We kind of bumped up, went back down, and then we're bumping back up again. So it's kind of like what I was saying. And and we'll have to wait and see. Only time's going to tell if we get into storm level. If we go up any more, we'll be considered a G level 1 storm. And what can we expect with that? I know that's a question everybody always has. You know, the main thing that we expect when we see these kinds of things is the uptick in earthquakes. That's probably the most, I guess, would be the severe end of it, the most important to pay attention to. Sometimes we have some brownouts, things like that. I just showed you the geoelectric grid, right? So we know that that's happening, okay? That doesn't mean that the unnatural electrical components that it affects is actually affecting enough to fail, okay? But the chances are higher. That's what that graph is showing you, that chart, okay? So, you know, if everything's fine, it's fine. I mean, it probably most likely is at this point, but we start seeing more and more increase in this, or even a steady pounding of this will give us more issues. And then the good things with these things that happens is we see aurora. You know, the aurora comes down to mid-latitudes a lot of times during these G level 1 storms. Or during, you know, G2. Who knows how this could actually go higher than what we all think. That's happened before. We've actually said, hey, you know, that doesn't look like it's even going to get into storm level. You wake up the next day and you look at it, and it's a G3 storm or something crazy. It's happened. Everybody's said it and done it, but you know, judging from what we've all looked at in the past, this looks like it could get into G1. I don't see it getting much more than that unless it hangs around. What could happen is this CME could kick us up into small geomagnetic storm level, and then the solar wind behind it, okay, it could actually push us up higher because that energy is already there and juiced up, and anything else that's coming is going to affect us more. Not to mention that our electric field is now weaker than what it was. That is a fact. Close to 20%. Okay? And it's going to take a while for us to build back up to normal. Because, you know, as we come out of solar minimum, it helps us build back up. But during that time when we're building back up, that's the danger, because if we get hit with a big CME during our build-up time, it could be bad. All right? So I'm talking like big-time CMEs, not the ones we've seen. Okay? Because they're not huge. There's, you know, it's more activity, and sometimes they cause us issues. But during our build-up time, we don't want no big, huge CME coming at us. You don't want to see that. It would not be good. I'm not saying it'd be catastrophic, but I'm not saying it couldn't be, because we've, you know, Carrington event. You know, I'm not saying we're going to have one of those. All I'm saying is that stuff is possible. Not to mention, it's a matter of if, not a matter of when. It's a matter of it's not a matter of if it's going to happen. It's a matter of when. You know, we may not see something like that in our lifetime, but we might. We just don't know. So we're going down through here, and here's that bright region on the sun. It's now a confirmed sunspot. It has all the characteristics. It's Earth facing, so yes, that is a sunspot now, guys. I think I already mentioned that yesterday. But also the A data here, guys. Okay, the A data is going to show us density and solar wind speed, and you can see where the orange is. That's the density. It's upticking. It seems to be pretty steady. It doesn't look very, you know, fluctuant. In other words, it's not going from high to low real close to each other. The solar wind seems to be staying, you know, right around 400. The temperature of the plasma hanging right in there too. So, I mean, stuff is upticked and it's staying there. I look for us, you know, you can see these, usually these spikes in either the density or the solar wind speed. You'll see the geomagnetic activity raise when those things raise too. Okay, so it's up to 4 now on the geomagnetic activity chart. It might have been because of this little bump up in density. Okay, most likely that's probably what caused it. Now it could still go on up higher. We don't know yet. We just got to wait. Okay, guys, I got you over at Mr. MBB3's webpage. Okay, this is, like I said, it's where I go to get to the Schumann link. But I'm going to show you guys something else real quick too. See down here in the bottom left says new UV readings. we're going to click on that. And I want you guys to go over there and check it out because you guys will enjoy it. It's good information. Okay. So if we click on one of those links there, it's going to take us to one of his videos. All right. And I'm going to push. Let's just go ahead and push play. This is June 8th. This is back on the 8th. Digital ultraviolet light. And this is what you're going to see. He's holding his instrument up there. He's taking the readings. He's in Arizona. Okay. He tells you the temperature. And here's the charts. You see that right there? That's UVC. See that 4? That should say 0 right straight across. Okay? And I think that right there is UVA and B, if I'm correct. That one there he's showing. The 11.54. That would be the UV index. And again, you can take that and you can go look at it. But the UVC, see how he's showing some other places? That was British Columbia, guys. That's Canada. So there you go. There's one of them ones from Canada. I'm not sure if there's a whole bunch of them up there. But yeah, there you go. So this is what he does during the summer, okay? He's done it for years. It's how I found him. And it's awesome stuff. So we'll go over here and we'll go ahead and go over to the Schumann real quick. I just wanted to show you guys that because I want you guys to go over and check him out. You go over daily and check it out. And then here's that really strange looking spike, guys, on the Schumann. And so you're probably asking, well, what's so strange about a spike that looks pretty normal? Well, what's strange is, look at this. When's the last time you guys seen a spike actually taper from the bottom up? I know I've not seen it. Not to that extent. Usually when we see a spike, anybody that's been watching this for any time, it looks like this. Okay, and it goes down and it's always full right through here. There's none of this, tapering off both directions. So I'm inclined to think right now though that that's probably from that CME. Now I will say this too. We got spike right behind it right here. It's starting. Okay, you guys can see that. And if I had to judge right now, if I'm comparing these two signatures, I'm going to say that this one here, the second one, is probably going to look very similar to this one. And if that happens, it's most certainly probably almost 100% on it that it's probably from all the solar weather we're getting. Okay? Because that's what happens. It can affect the frequency. It changes the vibration when we get hit from stuff from space. That we know that. So just keep that all in mind. But listen, guys, that's a strange signature for me anyway. I've always said, and I've been saying that low frequency below our norm of 7.83, can cause things also. It doesn't always have to be above that. So and looking back from here back, it doesn't look all that ridiculous. That's probably kind of the most normal I've seen it in a very long time. But I will say this still, 783 is there, and so is this one. It doesn't go back to blue anymore. It doesn't go back to 0 like it used to. So, but yeah, guys, just check out, just stay aware, guys. No fear at all, guys. Don't live your life in fear. It's not worth it. Grab a hold of what's important. That's usually your family and your friends, and just be who you are. There's a lot of stuff going on in our world today, and we all know this, especially here in the United States. I won't say here, just here. It's everywhere, okay? But what I meant by that is the changes that we're going through are something that none of us ever expected. And I don't typically talk about, the masks and stuff like that. But right here where I live, it was kind of unexpected that they just dropped the mandate on us today. We cannot go into a public place without having a mask on. I don't know how they're going to enforce it or what the penalty is going to be. but obviously it's a big subject because of a whole lot of issues I'm not going to go into. And yes, I have my own opinions on them. Okay, yeah, but this ain't what this channel's about, so I'm not going to go into that. And I said that just to let everybody know that all this plays together. Okay, all of it. It's all tied to each other. And the only way that we can, be okay is to be tied to each other also. Because what affects me is going to affect you too, even if you don't like me. And the more we understand that, the more we're going to have empathy, compassion, respect for that person that we didn't think we could. And if we can get to a level that we don't have to feel like that anymore as a species, pretty much. And it's going to be a hard thing. It's not going to be an easy road, and it's not going to be a short road. People think we're going to wake up tomorrow and then everything's going to be bad. The same thing goes. Do you think we're going to wake up tomorrow and everything's going to be great? It's up to us. And I have to say this, and this is how I live my life. Happiness is a choice. It's not guaranteed, and it's not given to you. You have to go get it. You have to choose to be that way. So if you're not happy, yes, you can have stuff smacking you in the face that you don't have control over. But grab a hold of that, what I just said. You don't have control over it. So don't let it control you. That's the difference. It's how you react to these things. And if you can get past that and find that happiness with these to the people that mean the most to you, that will spread. The bad spreads like a cancer, but guess what? So's the good. So that's what I would say to that. God bless. Yeshua saves, and you can drink this Kool-Aid.